What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth and Goal Sports Show. I'm your host, Tyrus Filson. Today, I'm joined again by my guests today, Zaire, Julian. We got a late night discussion talking about this past weekend, first round of the playoffs, the NFL wild card. Man, it was some really interesting games, and we're just going to chop it up, dissect it, kind of break it down, some things we saw. I'm really excited with my Commanders. Got their first playoff win since 2006, like I said they were going to do. Ravens did their thing, but man, it was just good to see playoff football again for sure. And just want to hand it off to y'all. How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great.
I know you are, man. Them Ravens, they did their thing. Wasn't even close.
Yes, I know on the last live, I said that it was going to be a close game. I was expecting us to win by one score, but we won by two scores, and I knew it was done as soon as we went 21-0. So that was I just knew. And then they just kept what the Ravens were doing successfully was they were running up the clock too, which was also good. And then our defense was doing good. So running the ball, it was amazing. And this they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So I just hope they continue doing exactly what they're supposed to do, which is running the ball and less penalties too. So,
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that the Ravens with the Ravens game, um, I felt like you said, running the ball, time of possession, control the clock. Those are really key components in these, playoff games. Really, you got to run the ball, you got to establish the run, control the clock, and you got a better chance to win. That's just what it is. And when you got Henry, you have to do that. So Ravens easy first round. The big test is what's next. That's the big
yes,
test.
yes, we all know the one that everyone wants to see.
Yes,
We all know.
MVP battle.
Yep.
How you feeling, Julian?
I am amazing. I'm also lost for words. Being a fan of this team my entire life and never seeing them do anything of good. To finally see them win a playoff game brought tears to my eyes, like real tears. Like I was 5 years old when they won that playoff game. Like I don't have no remembrance to actually see it, and then the fashion they did it was definitely amazing to see. So
Hey
yeah,
man, I feel you, dog. Hey, clap it up for Black Boy Joy, man. Hey, clap it up, dog. You know what, man? I didn't shed no tears, but I just couldn't help but enjoy the moment. And it was cool to experience that moment with some family to watch the game. And just talking to my family about the game, after we won, shoot, it was fun, man. It was fun. Like football really do bring family together, bring friends together. Football is a beautiful thing. And when you've been down for so long, like just the smallest things in life will bring you joy. And like the Commanders winning a playoff game, man, brought me some joy. It brought me some happiness. It brought me some cheer because like I think the way that we win games, it just gives me it'll give fans a heart attack, man. It was just so close. It was so stressful, but when you finally get down to it, we got the W. I was I was hyped, man. I was so hyped. Um, Jaden Daniels never fails to impress me. Like every game, I'm so impressed by the way he plays. Like Jaden seems so calm under pressure. He seems so poised. He seems so so chill. Like I was joking watching the game with family. I was like, "Are we watching? Like, do you see what I'm seeing?" I was like, "Do you like we're over here stressing and we're on the couch watching the game? Imagine him in this moment, and he seems less stressed than we are. Like that's impressive to me. It really is."
yeah,
Definitely.
it was definitely an amazing thing to see. Um, just this entire season, the rise of a superstar quarterback was definitely amazing to see. Just seeing the way he's so poised, he just gets better as time goes on. The last 2 minutes of the game, you can always trust in him to go walk him down. I literally tweeted it out. I was like, yeah, they left that man too much time. They're not getting the ball. We're scoring. Jaden's gonna walk him down again. He does it again. Very few quarterbacks in the league you can say that you trust in the last 90 seconds of the game. And Jaden Daniels being a rookie just shows the testament of who he is as a superstar. Best QB in the division and the conference. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
My bad, I was muted. But I was saying, oh, for sure, man, because like it's at the point now where, like we chop it up in the group chat, like we chop it up, text messages. Jaden at this point, and I said it before, even before the game, I said it. Jaden is the best quarterback back in the NFC. And I know we had other guys on the live, Kalani.
I think he froze. Do you?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're frozen. Okay.
Yeah, can y'all hear?
Oh, I guess we'll just wait for him to come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, am I good? All
yeah,
right.
you good.
No, I was just saying, like, last live, okay. I was saying last live, I don't think that Jalen, Kalani, Malachi, just, everybody in the live, I don't think we fully grasp the fact that, I already grasped it, but Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC. And, like,
we'll just wait till he comes.
Yeah. Technology today.
Yes. But yeah, I basically agree with everything he's saying. Very generational talent. That's all I can say. Definitely generational talent. And just watching the few Commanders games, not gonna lie, y'all were giving me a heart attack because I was like, oh my god, are they gonna win? Are they going to win? But every time they're always coming in clutch at the last second. I was like, wow, man, every single time. So I know it's good and exciting.
I really
I think the best thing about it, this team has not hit their stride yet. The team is still young. Jaden is doing this essentially with practically Jaden and Terry. But yeah, that's just kind of like the team haven't hit their stride yet. Give them another couple years. I think it's gonna get, kind of scary with a good free agency class, a good draft class. The team can be something to really fear. Yeah. But shout out to De'Ami Brown though. He stepped up. He must have heard me on Twitter. He must have read my tweets, because it's coming from all the wide receivers. But yeah.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. And now you all will have a lot of people trying to come over, hopefully, and there's definitely a lot of good people you can sign in free agency because they see the vision of what's going to happen and they see the growth. So I expect your team to be better the next year and to just keep improving forward. So I'm excited to see this. Excited to see this growth. Excited.
Yeah, any free agents this year. If you want your quarterback to be able to get you the ball, particularly wide receivers, cough, T. Higgins. We got a lot of money we can throw at you. And you have a good quarterback, number one wide receiver on the other side. So, give my man Adam Peters a call. Yeah. Any corners too, because we need some corners.
Yeah.
Tre'Davious, Ward. You don't want to be in Cali. You can be on the opposite side of the world, the country. So, yeah.
Yeah. It has been a great time, and as I was saying, this weekend it was very. I think I was good on all my predictions except for one, and that was the Chargers versus the Texans. Not gonna lie, I was fully expecting the Chargers to win. 'Cause I just had a feeling that they would be the much better team. And then when I was watching the Texans play, they were looking a little bit defeated during Christmas Day, and so I was not expecting Texas win, but they CJ Stroud did exactly what he's supposed to do. I mean, clutching up too, so it was great, very good.
I will be honest. I did not watch that game at all.
Mhm.
I was at work, so like it was on my phone, but I was not really paying attention. So I didn't really get to see that. I just kind of saw the score, but yeah, I didn't watch that game. But I got
Oh,
home just in time to see the Ravens. I have opinions on both teams, but yeah.
yeah. Luckily, you didn't watch because you would have seen Justin Herbert's disaster class on TV, and it was lots of interceptions. And I'm like,
I've
wow,
heard.
wow.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you good.
Okay, sorry about that, man. I was lagging. If it lags again, I might have to join on another device, but my computer was bugging. But yeah, that Chargers Texans game. Um, I try to tell people, man, they just don't listen though. I try to tell them Justin Herbert is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL, and he has been one of the most overrated for years. The same argument I used in my Kyler Murray video I dropped, I think last week of the season. I basically said there's no more excuses for Kyler Murray. I've talked to Cardinals fans. I've talked to all type of people. I said no excuses for Kyler Murray anymore. Part of the reason for that is you draft your quarterback 5 years ago, and 5 years later, no playoff wins. Just a playoff win, not a Super Bowl, just a playoff win, and nothing to show for it. It's absolutely unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. It's embarrassing. The Chargers, the Miami Dolphins, the Arizona Cardinals, all three of those teams have overrated quarterbacks. Overrated, overpaid, underachievers. I believe all of that. I'm standing on that because now in the NFL, it's like you're slightly above average and you get paid like you're a superstar. Kyler Murray's not a superstar. Justin Herbert's not a superstar, and neither for sure. I mean, out of the three, for sure, two is not a superstar.
Yeah,
But you know who's a superstar? That man in
Jaden
Washington,
Daniels.
85, man. Ooh, that's a superstar.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely agree because Justin Herbert, we think about his the first time he got in the playoff, they blew the lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and everyone thought they were gonna win, and they were up like 30 something, like not even 30 something, it was 20 something. They up by a very large margin, and they blew the lead. And this time I was expecting things different, but no, it was definitely horrible against the Texans. And this is like the same Texans team that they got blown out by the Ravens, and I'm not sure any other times they got blown out, but they weren't looking too good, and I was so shocked. So, yeah, the Chargers have a lot to work to do, and I wouldn't expect anything less because their offensive coordinator is Greg Roman, so he's gonna hit you with the multiple tight ends and running backs, and then you're asking why two wide receivers running the same route, and that's he was the coordinator for anyone that don't know. He was the coordinator for the Ravens, so like those years of just it's just a complete disaster on offense. So
I think one, I'm happy CJ Stroud pulled out another W to remind the league who he is. CJ Stroud, one of my favorite quarterbacks in this league. Hit a sophomore slump, but I still believe in him as a quarterback. The intangibles, the tools are there for a great career. So I'm happy for him, D'Amico Ryans, and all of them in Houston. Um, Definitely a shocker. Had the Chargers winning, just thought, when you have a hardball and you have a talented quarterback like Justin Herbert, you're able to pull it off. I still believe in the Chargers foundation, even though Herbert may be a little bit overrated. Um, Still believe them. They should be probably back in the playoffs. Hopefully, they're able to get some wide receivers out there. They got Lab McConkey, get some more pieces around them, and surround them with some better talent. So definitely see them kind of making the playoffs back again.
But yeah, I think I get it. I'm saying Herbert's overrated, and for those watching, it may seem like I'm hating, whatever. No, the Chargers, I think they do have the foundation. You got to realize they got a new coach, and they made the playoffs in year one. It didn't, turn out the way they wanted. But I do think they'll be back. They will compete. They will improve. They got a lot of roster moves they need to make. I think it's time to move on from Johnson, the same way they did Mike Williams. It's time to move on. I don't know what it is about TCU wide receivers.
Jesus.
Let's not do that anymore. Okay, let's not do that. Whatever you got to do, LSU, Ohio State, Bama, find a receiver from that school, or from those schools, because TCU. No disrespect to TCU, but in recent memory, the receivers, let's not do that. Get Herbert some help as far as the wide receivers. They got him help in the run game. I feel like the run game was pretty solid this year. I mean, of course, you want to make your strengths more stronger, of course. Wide receiver, Lab McConkey, I think he's underrated. He was balling, you know what I'm saying? But still, I don't feel like Lad McConkey should be your wide receiver one. He should be like your wide receiver 2 or 3, honestly. And that's no disrespect to him, but there's so many talented wide receivers. The Chargers need to do all they can to get Herbert the help he needs in the wide receiver game. Make the call for T. Higgins, make some trades, make some moves, do something. Because while you have your star quarterback, you want to do all you can, because that window is going to close eventually. It will. My only point with the Chargers and Herbert is like, I feel like their fan base is like very, very, very delusional, to say the least. I don't know a whole lot of Chargers fans, but I do know some. And their fan base is quite delusional. I think when it comes down to Herbert having these bad games, having these bad performances, it's always somebody else's fault. There's zero accountability. I'm sure there's accountability on his part, but the fan base, I noticed they blame everybody but Herbert. You throw 4 interceptions in a game, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault, bro. That's what it is.
And I have to agree. Well,
It reminds me of another fan base, but we're not going to get there. We're going to get to them. But it reminds me of a certain fan base. But
what's that fan base, bro? Go ahead. What you?
People are gonna call me haters. Baltimore. Particularly. I love Lamar. I do. But I feel like that fan base doesn't hold him accountable the way they want other fan base and media to hold other quarterbacks. Lamar did not play great in that playoff run last year. I'm sorry. He did not play great. He did not play great in the AFC Championship game. I felt like the time for you guys to win was last year. Mahomes really didn't have a great year. The Chiefs didn't really have a great year. You were at home. You're at the bank. To me, there was no excuses. Your defense gave you chance after chance after chance. And you still wasn't able to pan it out. Now you added more talent, which great teams do. You added probably the best running back in the league. But now you're going to have to go into Arrowhead. I just don't believe Lamar and Baltimore can go into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes while this team is now cooking. The defense is cooking. You have Andy Reid, probably the best head coach in the NFL, one of the best offensive minds, and go in there and beat them. Like I just can't see it happening. Um, if watching that Ravens and Steelers game, not to change games, but I said that the only way the Ravens were going to make it out the AFC, they're gonna have to run the ball. They're gonna have to run the ball 30 to 35 times a game. Like it's gonna have to be a ground and pound game. Like with Buffalo, if they beat Buffalo and go play whoever they play in the AFC, they're gonna have to run the ball. Like they're gonna have to feed Henry. Henry's gonna have to put on that cake. I don't want Lamar to have to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. Like it's gonna have to be a ground and pound team. Because that run game that they had against Pittsburgh was damn near unstoppable. Like the read option of the linebacker, the DN not knowing who to take, to crash down, or just you crash down, Lamar's going to take it. If you stay in the lane, you wait for Lamar, Derrick Henry's going to take it. So I think just running the ball is going to be the most best way I can see Baltimore making it. That defense is suspect. I think it is vulnerable in the secondary. I think a talent like Josh Allen can expose that defense. But yeah.
Well, all I can say is I have faith in my team. I'm going to believe. If we can believe, then we can achieve it. But I'm not. I also can say, me personally, I can say that sometimes I do not criticize Lamar, but most of the time I do see what people are saying and like the dumb mistakes that he makes too. So sometimes there can be a lot of dumb things like throwing, and then there's multiple people, and then like sometimes there's plays, especially like we're in the red zone. There could be plays where he doesn't see the person, and there's a person that's wide open too, and then he end up throwing this trying to like I know he does that sometimes to Mark Andrews a lot, where he tries to force it to him, but then there's another person wide open, and that's how we not scoring. Because I've seen it happen before in the past, and sometimes there could be dumb mistakes too, and back to like the running. I mean, Saturday was amazing, and I'm not on my Instagram. I said, and that's why you run the ball, and that's why I posted on my Instagram story when the Ravens won. So hopefully, John Harbaugh is listening, and Todd Monken is listening, and they decide to run the ball, too. Run the ball and run it down people's throat. And cause I hope, especially against the Bills, because our goal is we're trying to keep Josh Allen off the field mainly. So we need to be running the ball. And for our defense, I'm not gonna say in the beginning it was definitely very rough this year. It is, and I will admit there has been a downgrade from last year, and we all can tell. And in the beginning, it was very rough. And we had Zach Orr. I mean, I didn't even know he was like kind of. I'm not even sure if he was like ready to be a defensive coordinator. I kind of felt like they just threw him in that position. But we can say he's definitely since week one, he's definitely gotten a little bit better, and I feel like our defense is starting to get locked in. So, and I can still say I definitely am nervous. So, but I mean, they did what they're supposed to do on against the Steelers, but we know that the Bills are definitely going to be much of a more challenge, especially against our secondary, because that man Brandon Stevens, we've all seen him.
Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that Brandon Stevens is like he's gone after this year?
I would hope so. He's kind of a liability. So, like, I'm not sure if like does John Harbaugh see it or does Zach Orr see it? Does even the GM?
I think that the coaches. Well, I want to say what's up to my man Kalani. He just joined.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, bro?
Having some camera issues right now.
Yeah, you good, man. Whenever it happens, I was gonna say, like, I feel like a lot of these coaches, like even with Dan Quinn too, I question myself all the time. I'm thinking to myself, like, why did Dan Quinn not like cut Benjamin St. Juice yet? Like, why did he not do that? our DB room is already weak, so maybe he's just like ride it out with that guy, and maybe Harbaugh's doing the same thing, ride it out with the guys you have. I know that, like, I think about it this way: if I was a coach and I had trash DBs, you got to realize it's not just like their relationship is limited to okay, he's trash at football. When you become a coach, you're gonna coach people that ain't too good. That's just how it happens. But you still build that relationship with them as peers, as you know, we work together. So I feel like it's more of just like I don't want to cut you right now. I respect you as an individual, how hard you work to be here. The most I can do as a coach is let you ride it out for the season. And after that, whatever happens, happens. And I feel like maybe that's Harbaugh and Dan Quinn's approach. Because look, I'm sure St. Just is grateful to Dan Quinn for letting him ride it out this far, because every time he gets on the field, it's like a liability every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be the last time he ever plays football. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be grateful to Dan Quinn for letting him play this long, because I don't know if there's any other coach in the NFL that's going to allow Benjamin St. Just to hop on the field. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think it's also just like who you're gonna replace him with.
That too.
When you're in these situations, like we can cut him, but it's like who do we have?
Yeah, who's
like,
available that we can really replace him with? Yeah.
But I had another statement about the Ravens. Not to pick on them. I actually would like to see Lamar get one. The reason why I said that I think the only way for Baltimore to succeed and go to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to run about 30, 35 times a game, get Henry 20 to 25 touches a game, and the rest can go to Lamar. I don't believe Baltimore has the receiving core where Lamar can throw the ball 40, 50 times and expect to win. I remember when Devontae Adams requested a trade and there was rumors. I remember like going on Twitter and talking with Ravens fans like, "Oh, y'all should trade for him because I don't believe your wide receiver core is great." I don't. I don't see what's their wide receiver one right now, Zay Flowers. I don't see him as number one in my opinion. I don't. I'm sorry.
Whoa, that's
like
bro. I think he's a number one.
Zay
I like my number
Flowers.
one.
I agree with Julian. Zay Flowers is not a number one.
I like my number one's big.
He's not. When you think of the number ones in the league, you think about the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases, even at one point Stephon Diggs or Nico Collins. Right now, like those are number ones. Zay Flowers. I don't even think he should have been a Pro Bowler this year. That's just me. So I agree with Julian on this one.
Well, you guys don't know.
I like my number ones to be tall, and Zay Flowers is like 5'10". Like I like my.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you.
I think we can't. We're not doing that, bro.
Of course, I'm not gonna trash Zay Flowers because he's my favorite. But the Ravens do have a hard time of not being good at drafting wide receivers, and they do also have a hard time of not drafting people that are above 6 feet. So and more stocky, more built. So, and like we've seen, their past other wide receivers like Hollywood Brown, and like he was very small too. So they do have a tendency of doing that. I mean, I just think if we can like get one big body wide receiver, that'd be great. But like literally this year, Zay Flowers is the first wide receiver for the Ravens in the Pro Bowl ever in history. We have never had a wide receiver in the Pro Bowl, so this is insane.
What?
Yes, he was the first one.
Wow, you know what? That's crazy, dog. You know what? I don't want to interrupt you, but before you guys go, all I wanted to say to that was, I can agree to this. Like, I'm on both sides. I'm really, in my opinion, like Zay Flowers is a wide receiver one, but at the same time, this season, I wouldn't have him in the Pro Bowl. I really feel like Brian Thomas Jr. should have been in the Pro Bowl. Bro, wasn't he like top 5 in receiving yards as a rookie? Like, what are we talking about? He's a Pro Bowler, bro. He's a Pro Bowler. BTJ should have been in, and Zay Flowers, maybe next year. I really don't feel like he should have been in it this year, but at the same time, he is a wide receiver one.
I don't a wide receiver one for him like as that title. I just don't agree with. And it's no dig to Zay Flowers or to the Ravens, because if I'm being honest, the Ravens, I'm generally scared of playing the Ravens, so I'm not able to sit up and act like I'm not. But I just think the reason why like he looks the way he looks. I just think they're a well balanced football team. So everybody, all the receivers get their touches. But in terms of a wide receiver one, kind of like Julian was saying, like I'm not gonna sit there and necessarily go to the height part because look at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's small and he's a wide receiver one. So I'm not gonna
I
necessarily
think
go
I
that
think
far.
Tyreek Hill is like the exception to the rule. He's like the fastest man in the league. So like that's why for him I don't do the height thing. But for
Are you
me, my wide receivers, I want them 6'1" and
are you
kind of
talking
above.
about today's game though, or is it just in general? Because I mean, we've seen Steve Smith, we've seen
Yeah, Steve
Tyreek.
Smith's a good example.
Yeah, like we've seen small receivers. I mean, Terry McLaurin not even that big, bro. He's not that big.
I mean, Stephon Diggs isn't even really that big. I mean, he's
Stephon Diggs is like 6'1".
6'1". I
Buddy,
mean,
I'm
never.
6'1", bro. If 6'1" is not that tall,
Yeah,
bro.
Jamar Chase, those are big receivers, and that's why they do what they do. They have an advantage, but I don't necessarily think you need the height to be a good receiver or to be like as
I mean, I'm
dominant.
not saying you need the height, but for me, if I'm building my team, I want my wide receiver one to at least get to 6. Like, if you're not 6, you're gonna be super fast. But like, I think Zay Flowers would go off even more as a wide receiver too. And I think like the receiving core in Baltimore is just weak. Outside of him, who do you have that's not a tight end? Like outside the numbers, who do you have that's doing anything? And I don't want to put that pressure on Lamar because I think teams are going to double Zay. And of course, you're going to have the tight ends, but like, who is that next receiver to do it? So that's why I don't
With
think
Zay,
Baltimore. You
with
can't
Zay,
force Lamar to throw 40, 50 times a game and expect to win.
I get what you're
Just saying.
saying because Zay, I mean, Zay is 5'9", 174, probably a little bit more as far as weight because people be gaining weight throughout the season, but or losing weight throughout the season, either one. But I get what you're saying. He is pretty small. It would be ideal to get a bigger receiver because the Ravens really don't have a big time like big receiver like that. Um, but at the same time, like Kalani said, they're a balanced offense. They really don't need to spend a whole lot on wide receiver because let's be real, bro. Like they're not about to throw the ball 40 times a game. This
Yeah.
ain't the Bengals. This ain't the Bills. They're going to establish the run. And even the Bills in recent, like it was times where Josh Allen's throwing the ball like every single play. But now I feel like they have a run game. James Cook has stepped it up. Um, yeah, it's just you're not like I feel like with football, when you're throwing the ball a whole lot, like a lot, you're probably gonna lose the game. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna have some crazy stats, but you're not gonna win. I think that's the problem. You want to establish the run. And Zay Flowers he fits the scheme and being a number one for their offense.
Yeah, and I would have to agree because the Ravens also use a lot of wide receivers for blocking too. So that's why we don't really get like a lot of big name wide receivers that want to come here because most likely you're not going to get the ball thrown to you a whole lot. You're going to be over there blocking. So it all depends. And I just think,
Zaire,
hmm?
Zaire, before you go, Zaire, if you're the Ravens GM, there's a certain guy in free agency right now. Would you bring back Odell Beckham Jr.?
hmm. I have never really put any thought to this.
Is this
Online,
even a question right now?
I've seen other people say no. So I mean, personally, no. I mean, I don't know.
Bro
Personally,
said, "Is this even a question?"
Because Odo, bro, I loved Odo at one point, one of my favorite receivers. But let's be serious here. Odo is nothing. He's just getting older every year, obviously,
yeah,
and he's literally starting to serve no impact. I feel like teams are signing him for the name at this point.
Speak
Like
yeah,
that.
he has the name. He'll bring in some tickets because everyone loves Odell from what he did with the Giants. But I mean, he could be productive at times. Like if he's open, he's gonna catch the ball. But I mean, that's anybody in the NFL. So that's not really anything anymore. I don't think he's productive anymore. I think that's why he's bouncing from team to team. So I don't think even with the contenders that he has been to, like the Ravens or like even the Dolphins at one point, which is a playoff team, nothing came from that, and he wasn't an impact at all. So I don't think if I was the Ravens, I wouldn't even see a point of getting him unless they want veteran leadership. Maybe that's about it. But if you talk about productivity, then no.
yep. You basically said everything I was going to say. Thank you, thank you. I didn't have
Yeah, I
to.
agree. I'm with you. Like I was just asking, just see where your head's at on that one. I know Odell is Odell. He's a popular player, but I really think it's time. I mean, it was
Cover
past
up,
time.
but-
Even when I started 4th and Goal, one of the first videos I did was about Odell and what to expect from him on the Ravens, what to expect from him on the Ravens. And it was hilarious. Like all these delusional Ravens fans in the comments talking about, nah, your stats are too low. He's gonna have more than this. Man, it was like he's been past his prime a while ago, dog. Like, what are we talking about, man?
I agree. That's all I know is the one-handed catch. That's it. Not gonna lie.
That's a game we haven't talked about at all since we have a Bills fan here. Buffalo and Denver.
He was right. He was right. Kalani was right.
Listen, man. I don't. Like I said before, I even reacted or gave my scoreboard prediction. Try to tell all of you guys. Not even trying to be that guy to just be like, "I told you so." I'm not gonna be like Stephen A. Smith. None of those guys. But I told you so. Like, I mean, I called it. Most of my predictions were wrong for the weekend. But with Buffalo, I mean, I just didn't see. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That first drive, that was a good first drive by Denver. But after that, I kind of knew off rip what kind of game it was going to be. Like, did you really think that was going to happen throughout the game? Did you really think Buffalo's defense was going to let that happen? Like, yeah, we started off slow off that first drive. We gave them momentum. We gave them all the hype in the world that they needed. But I literally said it was going to be a blowout strictly because I just felt like the Denver Broncos just weren't ready. And there's nothing wrong with that because let's be for real. They exceeded expectations this year. Nobody expected them to get to the playoffs. Nobody expected them to even get to that many wins this year because they were in rebuild mode with a rookie quarterback. Same thing as the Commanders. Nobody expected the Commanders to go that far, and they're still doubting people to this day because they just moved on to the next round. But if you look at the Broncos and how like they're like orchestrated, like their entire team, they're gonna be good in a few years. They're gonna be a problem in a few more years. I just think as of right now they just can't compete with the Ravens or us or the Chiefs, like those top dogs in the AFC. I believe they can be like a solid playoff team in the next few years, but who knows where that comes from. But like with me saying all this, I didn't want to just act like, oh, it's gonna be a blowout just because I'm trying to stick with my team. It had nothing to do with that. If you actually look at the game from a statistical standpoint, I just knew it was gonna be a blowout. I didn't see a rookie going into Buffalo and being dominant, especially for that being his first playoff game. So I don't know. Ironically, Bo Nix actually did show up and played solid for most of the game. It was just him by himself. So I don't know. Bo Nix is gonna be good. Like I said, if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, he's my offensive rookie of the year. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna do the same thing to the Ravens this weekend. So I don't, you know, not even worried.
Well,
Well, I mean, I'm with you. You know, the Broncos, shout out to them, respect. I know it was their first time in the playoffs in a while. I think since they haven't made the playoffs until this year, and since like what, the Super Bowl year.
yeah,
Yeah,
since they won the
yeah,
Super
it was
Bowl.
that year. Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. You know, to go from Super Bowl to like not even making the playoffs all those years. Yeah, that's an accomplishment. You know, the Broncos, they look the future is bright. You know, but it's not as bright as Washington. You know, it's not on that level yet, but they'll get there. Bo Nix, he cool. He cool. I really see, like, all jokes aside, I really see a lot of Andrew Luck and RG3 and those two top guys in this class. I really do. Um, and it's unfortunate I had to say the two top guys, even though we're not even mentioning Caleb. It's unfortunate, but hopefully Caleb gets it together next year because I think this class is going to be pretty special. Yeah.
I watched the game. I wasn't greatly attentive for it because I'm not gonna lie, I was not hyped for that game. I really was only hyped for like 3 games. They were all the NFC games, and plus the Baltimore game. But Bo Nix, he's tough. I think with Sean Payton, give him a couple more years, give him some more weapons, let him mature in that offense. I know that offense is the verbiage of what people say. The Sean Payton offense is very long. It's a very long verbiage. It's the plays he gets in is damn near a mouthful. They talked about it on ESPN, but yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, they're just not ready. It's okay. they're young, they're fine, they're gonna be all right. Long they just keep drafting and developing talent. Buffalo, um, I'm kind of impressed. I did pick them to kind of blow um, Denver out. Kind of impressed in the way they played. I don't really watch a lot of Buffalo games. I don't. Um, Kind of impressed the way they got James Cook involved in going. I think that's like the way forward for them. I can't. I don't think again, kind of with Baltimore, even though Josh Allen can give you 40, 50 passes attempts a game, I don't think that's you want to put everything on him. I think if you can establish the run game, you can kind of play the way you played against Denver, that kind of smash my football. I think that's their way to beat Baltimore as well. But this next game, I think Josh Allen's gonna have to drop his balls, and he's gonna have to shred that Baltimore defense up a little bit. That secondary.
I'm honestly not worried about him doing what he's gonna do. I'm just worried about what our defense is gonna do, because our defense does have a past of not showing up in big games. And I'm gonna be honest, Lamar Jackson is arguably the best quarterback in the league. I'm not even about to sit up here and lie. So, and I'm generally scared playing against him, because at the end of the day, that is a two-time MVP, and he can kill you with his arm and his legs. So that's just what it is. So if our defense doesn't step up and has his moments where they start lacking or being lazy or just not playing good, then we're gonna be in for a long game, because Josh Allen, he's going to do what he's going to do on offense, but is the defense going to step up and do what they have to do? In terms of the Ravens secondary, I believe that Josh Allen's going to pick their secondary apart. We've seen their defense the past few weeks. It hasn't really been good. Mainly their pass defense. So in terms of that, I feel like we'll be okay in that department. I just honestly believe we're going to pass the ball more than we are going to run, because their rushing defense is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Unless James Cook just gets going, then I doubt we're going to keep feeding him that much. So I just say we have to contain Derrick Henry and just make Lamar pass the ball more than Derrick Henry's rushing it. I'd be more content that way, to be honest, because Derrick Henry killed us last game. We had no answer for him. So I'm not. I don't see us having a problem in terms of winning the game. I generally believe we can win the game. I'm gonna obviously go with us to win the game, but we can't let Lamar and the Ravens get going, because at that point, once they get hot, that it's hard to beat them. So.
Luckily, you're not playing at the bank.
Yeah, no. If we were playing in Baltimore, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we might have lost that one.
I believe in Josh Allen to go in the bank and take one. Yeah, it's just I think if Buffalo defense commits to stopping Henry and force Lamar to stay in the pocket and force him to have to step up in the pocket and deliver dots, you're gonna have a chance. You're gonna have a chance. Take away Zay Flowers and force everybody else to beat you. I get they have the tight ends, but force some other receivers to try to beat you. But try to contain him as much as you can. That's a hard, difficult task. That offense looks damn near unstoppable. It's like, what the hell do you do? Do you stop Henry? Do you stop Lamar from running? And then they start doing the RPOs, and it's like, yeah, I think they just have to go all in on try to stop Henry and force Lamar to beat you from the pocket. Just pick a position.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Their offense is as dominant as you can get. They're like the best 1-2 punch in the league. And you can make an argument. Jalen Hurts and Saquon, I wouldn't say that. For me, it's a team that it'd be between Derrick Henry and Lamar, and then Josh and James Cook. The season James Cook just had, it was amazing. So, but if you're talking about the best 1-2 punch superstar talent wise, I probably have to give it to the Ravens duo, because we know what they can do at any moment in time. But I'll say this: if we played the Ravens how we played against the Broncos, we're gonna lose. Because for people who didn't watch the game, you would think, and you just seen the scoreboard, you would think, oh, that's just a blowout, 31-7. We didn't. We went 1 of 5 in the red zone. We really should have had at least like 40 plus points against them. We went 1 of 5 in the red zone. James Cook had a touchdown, but in the red zone specifically, they held us to just field goals or to no points at all. Yes, the Broncos, their defense is amazing. They have a top 5 defense in the league. But I mean, this is the playoffs. So at this point, everybody in the playoffs are good. They're there for a reason. So if we play the Ravens how we played against the Broncos, we're gonna lose. Like, yeah, we blew them out, but the scoreboard didn't tell how the actual game was going. Trust me. Especially their defense played really well considering who they were playing against. So I think if we tighten up and we cook their secondary like I know we can, then I don't see why we can't win this game.
I kind of want to talk to a certain fan base. I'm seeing a lot of them for the last couple weeks. Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're yeah. Um, Clip this. Pittsburgh fan, your franchise quarterback is not on the roster. I hated the fact the way in which y'all treated Russell Wilson. Yeah, he wasn't great. But I don't think y'all remember the offense you had when Justin Field was in. I remember that line of game. That was atrocious. Um, yeah, like that quarterback that y'all envisioned, I don't think Justin Fields would have done anything different than what Russell Wilson would have done. So, yeah, I'm kind of tired of hearing Pittsburgh Steelers fans talk about, yeah, we should have put in Fields. And Fields is not the dude. Super talented, but he's not gonna be the difference maker for you. If y'all really want to be spoiled brats and talk about Tomlin, please just trade him away. Some team would be grateful to have him. Even though I do think it is time for a change of scenery for both. But yeah, don't be brats with 6 Super Bowls.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I definitely believe that I saw the comments. I saw all those things where people are saying we need to just put Justin Fields in the game because Russ isn't doing it, whatever the case may be. Let's make one thing clear. Justin Fields gets put in the game and they're not doing anything. Russell Wilson is obviously the better quarterback between the two and gives you a better chance. So the whole put Justin Fields they're just looking for a scapegoat, whatever the case may be. Because Justin Fields going into Baltimore, he's not doing anything better than Russell Wilson. Except for maybe run the ball, like rush it, maybe that's about it. But throwing wise and getting first downs, do all those things, no. Russell Wilson is obviously the better option. But I don't know. I think they should definitely get rid of Mike Tomlin. Because after a certain point in time, everybody in here watches football, everybody in here knows football. At a certain point in time, we have to start looking at Mike Tomlin and start asking maybe he should start taking some accountability. Because I think, what is it, 6 straight playoff losses? Or 6 or 7, something like that. After a while, I'm going to start looking at the coach, the head coach at that. Everybody knows Mike Tomlin's great. He's had a winning record since he's been in this league. That's amazing. But that's all in the regular season. What does that show for in the playoffs? You get bounced out the first round almost every single year. The last 6 years or 7 years to be specific, something like that. So I think after a while we're gonna have to start questioning Mike Tomlin's ability because yes, we know he's a great coach, he's a Hall of Fame coach. But we all see that the Ravens are capable of being beaten. Is it gonna be easy? No, nobody ever said that. But the Steelers defense, they have the talent to get to the Super Bowl. It's just, I mean, their offense, when it gets clicking as well. But I just feel like that's on the head coach as well. Yes, the players have to come and perform. But at the same time, if you look at I think the last 2 times they played, Mike Tomlin has to know how to make adjustments. It was the same thing. The last, I'm talking about the playoff game. Towards the end of the year when they played them, it looked like the same strategy at that point. It was the same thing, and nothing was being fixed. So I genuinely believe that Mike Tomlin has to take accountability, and we need to start questioning his coaching ability because his regular season performance is amazing, winning record, but nothing to show for in the playoffs. So
I also kind of place blame on the Pittsburgh Steelers organization as a whole. That is kind of difficult for me. As being a Commanders fan, as I always been, being crappy sometimes, you kind of root for national teams. Pittsburgh has always been a team that I've always rooted for. I just love the history of the Steelers. I love Mike T. But I'm also going to kind of place blame on them for never really kind of giving and drafting him the offensive weapons, but I also think that is also Mike T's at fault. Mike Tomlin's always gonna get you to the playoff. He's proven that. Like, but you're never gonna be good enough to beat a team. You're too good to get a top pick, so you're in this state of mediocrity. And I feel like Pittsburgh Steelers fans, as spoiled as they've been my entire existence, 6 Super Bowls, never has experienced this level of mediocrity, so they are panicking. But that is part of the reason why I believe they should cut ties. Like, you're not going to get your franchise quarterback. You're going to have to bottom out. Like,
the
it's
thing,
just going to
the
be
thing-
out. You got to bottom out.
the situation with the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, I feel like, like you said, they don't really have their franchise quarterback on the roster. They really need to lock in on drafting a franchise quarterback. No more of the let this guy be the guy for now, the bridge quarterback, all that stuff. They drafted Kenny Pickett, but to me, you really need to draft not just draft a quarterback, draft a high tier quarterback. But unfortunately, they would have to trade up to do that because they're mid every year. They're mid every single year, and they aren't getting any better. They started so good this year. I thought they were really about to take away the AFC North. Like, there were the FanDuel sports picks of who would win divisions, all that stuff. Man, I know a few guys who put in the Steelers the way they started, but I stuck it through. I'm like, the Ravens will find a way. Surely enough, they found a way. They won the division, but the Steelers started hot. They were looking crazy good. Mike Tomlin was getting all the shine, all that stuff. But like you said, Steelers fans are unappreciative a little bit. They're used to bigger and better. What I really think the Steelers need to do, rather than just fire Mike Tomlin, trade him, all that stupid stuff, nah, bro. He deserves to finish as a Steeler. But I think at this point, they should probably pull, maybe move him to the front office. Move him to the front office and hire a more modern head coach like a Ben Johnson or something. Because all I ever hear about is from Steelers fans is complaining about the offense. The identity of the offense is kind of outdated. It's not going to get them very far in the playoffs. The league has changed, man. The league has changed, and they need to make a switch. I don't know if you run it back with Mike Tomlin, but either way, I feel like could be for the best. Could be.
Here's my last little bit in thoughts. I believe they will keep Mike T. This is gonna segue into a whole another conversation, but I believe that Pittsburgh should look to sign Sam Darnold. I know he's had the worst 2 weeks in the world, but he did take a team to 14 wins. Help a team get to 14 wins and damn near be on the bridge of being the number 1 seed in the conference. I think signing him to like a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal. Not saying he's going to be your franchise quarterback. I know Steelers fans don't want to hear a bridge quarterback, but that's where you're at. You're not going to get a high draft pick to get a high quarterback this draft. Even though I don't think the quarterback draft this year is great. I think they're all shitty. I think they should do Sam Darnold, build up the offensive line, get some weapons, run it back. I don't know how much money they have in free agency. Possibly look to improve that defense. That defense looks. The defense kind of fizzled out. I think it was more so just kind of fatigue and always having to carry. But I think honestly they should sign the Sam Darnold to a 1-year prove-it deal, surround him with some talent, and just ball and just play Steelers football. The way Mike Tomlin told you the first press conference, we're gonna play Steelers football. We're gonna stop the run and we're gonna run the football. I think that's what they have to do next year. I think they may win a playoff game with Darnold.
And that's not a bad idea, bro. I mean, Darnold, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing. The Vikings, I want to see like what their next move is going to be at quarterback.
So let's talk about them then. Them and the Rams.
Yeah. Kalani, you want to go?
In terms of the Sam Darnold situation, I think people are a little too harsh on Sam Darnold only because I just feel like his first year with the Vikings, he overexceeded expectations. Let's think about it here. He was the backup quarterback. Minnesota didn't really have expectations coming into this year. They were just playing. It seemed like I don't even know if they were rebuilding necessarily. I don't know what it was, to be honest, 'cause I didn't pay attention to Minnesota. But I know that Sam Darnold was the backup quarterback going into this season, and JJ McCarthy he went down, so obviously next man up, and he balled from day one. From week 1 to week 16, he was balling. The last game against the Lions, obviously, we know what happened. He didn't play good at all. And then this playoff game against the Rams, can we really say he played bad? He didn't necessarily play bad. His O line was terrible. I mean, he had a touchdown, he had an interception. I mean, those aren't winning numbers, but that's not necessarily playing terrible, considering no disrespect, but considering who he is. Now, if that's Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or like Patrick Mahomes, we expect them to find ways to get it done. But when Patrick Mahomes lost that Super Bowl against Tom Brady, we gave him a pass because he didn't have an O line and he didn't play good. He just wasn't playing good because he didn't have an O line. So all these things play a factor into it. So I just feel like Sam Darnold's getting too much hate, and I feel like the Vikings fans and fan base are turning on him too fast, considering what he did for their team or for like the team in general. Let's think about it. I think what was their record, 15-2 or something like that for the year, or 14-3, something like that. I was
14
one
and
of
3.
them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
14-3. 14-3 is amazing. Nobody expected that. If somebody told me going to the season the Vikings gonna be 14, I would have looked at them like they were crazy. 14-3 for the Vikings with Sam Darnold, who was considered a bust at one point. So I genuinely believe that the Vikings fans they owe him an apology. I think they should definitely keep him around still. Maybe not necessarily the QB1, but I mean, who are you gonna pick up? JJ McCarthy. I mean, he was a rookie. He didn't play a single snap yet, so we don't know how he's gonna look, especially as a rookie going to that fan base. Plus, Sam Darnold's already established. I mean, we saw what he's able to do for your team and get them to the playoffs. Now at this point, you just got to look at all the other options and look at all the other like different situations in the like to the point where it's like the O line played terrible. What can we do to help get that better? Our defense, what can we do to help step that up? Our offense, what can we do to help Justin Jefferson maybe get open? It's a bunch of different factors. It's not just the quarterback that should be able to get that blame off of last night because from what I watched from last night's game, it was bigger than just the quarterback. Sam Darnold didn't play the best, but there were way many factors than just Sam Darnold not playing the best. So people
So you
blaming him.
you agree? You before you came on actually, I was joking with Julian and Zaire because I was watching this vid of Stephen A. and Dan Orlovsky talking about who's to blame for last night's loss for the Vikings, and you
Yeah, and
know,
I think Stephen A. blamed Sam Darnold. I saw that. I was watching ESPN this morning. He blamed him,
okay,
and Dan Orlovsky he was sticking up for for Sam Darnold. But I'm 50-50 with that because I believe that Dan Orlovsky, from what I've watched from most of his takes on ESPN, his takes with the quarterbacks, he's a lot softer than a lot of the other analysts. Because I think maybe because he played quarterback, or I don't know, he just has a soft spot for them. He always tries to defend them, but I can't do nothing but agree more with him. If you look at it, everything he's saying is mostly true. I think in this game today, the quarterback is always going to get the blame 99% of the time after a loss. That's just what it is. The quarterback's the most important position in football. But if you actually watched the game, like Dan was saying to Stephen A, you would have realized that it was bigger than the quarterback. It wasn't just like I don't think people realize maybe like I mean Sam like if you put like a Lamar Jackson or like a Josh like one of those quarterbacks, maybe they'll get the win. Like maybe because they're just that elite, they'll find ways to get it done. But I mean, you can't sit there and put all that blame on Sam Darnold. Now, if you want to talk about that last game of the season against the Lions, then by all means, he did not play good at all. But last night, from what I saw, that was a team effort. That they just, I'm not gonna lie to you, the Rams they just outplayed them. That's just what it was. It looked like they just wanted a little more. They came out with a little more drive, a little more hustle, just a little more like energy, and they just had the Vikings number. So when you put all that together, we're gonna really sit there and try to blame Sam Darnold for all those things. We're gonna blame Sam Darnold for the Vikings putting up that many points
I mean
against.
it's not all his fault, but at the end of the day, when like when you have a certain quarterback, it's only so far you can get. Like that's why I would laugh at Steelers fans when they would tell me, "Oh, the Super Bowl." There were really Super Bowl predictions out there that said, "Oh, or AFC Championship predictions out there." People really thought it was going to be Steelers versus Chiefs at one point in the season, and I told them like, Russell Wilson is not going to get you that far. This is not prime Russell Wilson. There's a certain level in which your quarterback can take you. Sam Darnold is not taking his team to no NFC championship. I just did not see that happening. My man's Aiden, he's in our group chat. He's just talking about, he really said that the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl and they're going to play the Chiefs. Like, I'm like, bro, there's no way you believe that Sam Darnold is going to take that team past all those juggernaut teams, the Lions, the Eagles. I'll take the Commanders over the Vikings. Like I really, there's a certain distance in which a quarterback can take you, and Sam Darnold, I think his ceiling has already been proved. Now that with me saying that, I'm not saying that he couldn't have won this game or gone to the next round. I don't see him like taking his team to a Super Bowl, and that's always the goal. That's always the goal, the Super Bowl.
I think
Go ahead, Julian. Go ahead. My bad.
To ask a question, because I do want to get to talk about the Rams and Matthew Stafford being a top 5 quarterback. As I continue to will say and defend that man's name, he's going to the NFC Championship game. Possibly the Super Bowl. In that same breath, I do believe there's a certain level that a certain caliber quarterback can take you. Do you believe that Detroit can go to the Super Bowl? And do you believe that Phillies aren't proven they can go to the Super Bowl, but let's put them in there. Do you believe that with their quarterback play, they can still make it to the Super Bowl? Because I would honestly put their 2 quarterbacks in the same boat.
Are you talking about the Eagles? Or are you talking about the Eagles and the Lions?
Yeah.
The Lions, I have no doubt. I mean, that's who I have getting out the NFC. Like I have zero doubt that I honestly believe that they're just, no disrespect to the Commanders. I mean, I was wrong in my prediction against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I just don't think right now they're just a match for the Lions. I mean, there's no shading that the Lions have the best record in the NFL statistically. So between them and the Chiefs, so I mean, it's not really a dig at the Commanders, but they're just that good. The Lions are just that good this year.
You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, I have the Lions. To answer your question, Julian, the Lions aren't pretenders to me. They're the real deal. Now the Eagles, on the other hand, I'm not sold on the Eagles. Even after the win against the Packers, I'm not. Jordan Love played terrible, and that was still a game for a cool little minute. So the Eagles. I'm gonna say this: if the Eagles had played the Commanders, let's say the Commanders had that 17, I'm betting my money with the Commanders. That's just what it is. The Eagles generally don't scare me. Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I don't care who has a problem with saying that. Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. That's just what it is. I can admit that. So Jalen Hurts. I'm not. And the reason why I'm saying this about the Eagles is because of one player. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. I'm not. See that Super Bowl run. That Super Bowl run. I won't put. I was convinced. I was like, okay, this dude, he's the real deal. Like, yeah, they lost, but I mean, they're gonna run it back. Like the Eagles are gonna get there again. The only reason why the Eagles are in the position they are in right now currently is because they have a well-rounded team, but offensively it's because of we know who. Their MVP candidate. Their offensive player of the year. Well, my offensive player of the year is Saquon Barkley. Like that's just what it is. Because if you take Saquon off that team, Jalen Hurts, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hurts. I don't. Because even last year and this season, he's just not looking like a top 5 quarterback.
People forget about Hurts. Like he did have the injuries, and I think that the problem with injuries in the NFL that I noticed with fans is like a player will get injured, right? And because it's an injury that other people have had, they just think they're supposed to come back and be the same. But everybody's body is different. You got to realize that. That's what I tell people when they start hating on Chase Young. I've been a Chase Young fan. When he got hurt towards ACL, came back, was really never the same. I was like, okay. I mean, even in my opinion, I'm like, did it suck to see Chase like not the same? He wasn't doing good. wasn't doing as good, people questioned his effort. Yeah, that sucked. But to say someone's a bust because of injuries, or to say someone is like trash because of injuries, I never thought that Jalen Hurts was like a top 3 quarterback, but I really did think he was top 10 at one point. And
he was top 5 for me at one point. That Super Bowl run was top 5 for me.
Yeah, and I think some things have changed. And you know, we're gonna see throughout this playoff run if he elevates his game. There's gonna be times where he's called upon to step up. It can't always be Saquon Barkley, you feel me? So there's gonna be moments where he has to step up. We're gonna see if he's able to do that. Because in the Super Bowl, in the highest game, the most important game, he did step up. He did. We just haven't seen it since. That's unfortunate.
I believe the Eagles have the best roster in football. You asked me this a week ago, I would have told you, despite Jalen Hurts, that team can carry him to a Super Bowl. I had them beating the Lions. Just because of the roster. They have the best offensive line. They have the best running back in football. And I've openly said it all season and last season. The Eagles have 2 number 1 wide receivers. They have probably the best statistical defense. And they got what's that D tackle for them? I forgot his name. The kid from Georgia. I always forget people's names.
You talking about?
I think it's like Carter.
Jalen Carter?
Yeah, Jalen Carter. I think he's going to be the absolute goods. The way we look at Chris Jones in Kansas City, I think he will be a game wreck pass rusher D tackle that will impact games. Just his presence alone.
He's a dog. Yeah.
I am very hard on Jalen Hurts. He did not play well. He has not played well.
But you know what's funny about that? No one's harder on Jalen Hurts than his own fans. Eagles fans, no one is harder on Jalen Hurts. Like you could be Eagles fan watching this right now, and you're probably thinking, you guys are going easy on Hurts. You guys must be Hurts fans, because the way that they bash Jalen Hurts, like I root for Jalen Hurts. I don't have a problem with him. I mean, it's hard to root for him because he's an Eagle. It's hard to root for Dak Prescott because he's a Cowboy. But I think both those guys are cool dudes. I like them as football players. If they were on other teams, I'd probably root for them a little more. But their fans, I mean, the Eagles, they hate on their own players, man. They hate on Hurts. They're unappreciative of the team that they have.
I agree with you, but the Eagles fan base, they're used to winning, if that makes sense. They want to win.
Winning what, though? Winning what? They have won Super Bowl. They have been running our division probably since 2000. They've pretty much run our division, them and the Cowboys. But the Eagles haven't won anything really significant. They've been to the Super Bowl in those days with Donovan McNabb and NFC Championship. They did that, cool. But really winning and finishing the job, Hurts has basically done what McNabb did that one year. I think they went to the Super Bowl twice. But Hurts, he's not bad. He's not terrible.
But you see, I think that's where the frustration comes in, because when you look at our quarterbacks, guys, all of our quarterbacks that are in this call are elite. I know Jayden Daniels was just a rookie, but I'm sold on him. He's elite. And even if he's not elite right now, he's there. By next year, he's there. He's a top 5 quarterback to me. So I just think when you got these teams coming up, like you got the Commanders who's ready to take over the NFC East, and the Eagles, like Julian said, they have technically the best on paper, the best roster in the NFL technically. So I think the frustration kicks in because it's like you have all this talent around you, you have all the pieces to just go get the Super Bowl, but it's like the quarterback is the issue. Jalen Hurts isn't necessarily bad. He like you said, he's a good quarterback, but a good quarterback can only get you bust so far, like you just said. Because I'll say this: if you put Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jayden Daniels, Joe Burrow on
They
that
don't
Eagles
lose.
team,
They
they're
don't
winning
lose.
the no. They're winning the Super Bowl if you put any of those quarterbacks on the Eagles.
I'm with you.
I
I'm with you. I can't disregard that.
Any of those
Yeah.
quarterbacks are going to get you that Super Bowl, or they're going to get you. If they're not going to win, it's because something drastic happened, like the defense got hurt, whatever the case may be. A fully healthy Eagles roster with Jalen Hurts, I'm not sold. They're not going to win. They're just not. I just don't
Jalen
see them going too
Hurts.
far.
Maybe it's different for me. I'm sorry. I get to you after I create this statement. I think like maybe my timeline is different, but my timeline is delusional Eagles fans. They tried to tell me Jalen Hurts was better than Jaden. Jalen Hurts had 37 yards going into the fourth. That is atrocious. He's not able to get his best players the ball. I think that is where AJ Brown's frustrations come from. He's not able to get
AJ Brown's frustrations come from AJ Brown. Like we're not gonna.
I think
I get it. I get it.
Comes from Jalen Hurts not able to get him the ball on time.
It doesn't listen. It doesn't matter what team AJ Brown's on. AJ Brown is a diva wide receiver. AJ Brown is a spoiled wide receiver. Like
I think
let's
all
not
wide
a lot of
receivers
Stephon Diggs, a lot of like Stephon Diggs.
like AJ Brown is he's unlikable. He's not a player. Like shoot, he could be on the Commanders. I don't even think I would want his jersey. like I'm the type of fan. I'm the type of fan when it comes to football. I like humble people. I like humble personalities. Hey, I understand the sports. People gonna be boastful. People gonna be, that don't mean I gotta be a fan of you though. Like I don't have to like you. You feel me? AJ Brown, I do not like that guy. I mean, he's cool. I acknowledge his greatness as a player. I just think that all that mess, like all that complaining, you're blowing teams out and you're still upset because you didn't get yours. All that crap. That's exactly why their locker room fell apart last year. He was a key component in that.
Wow.
I agree with that part, but I don't think if AJ Brown is in a Commander's uniform with Terry and Jaden Daniels, and even though we have a horrible offensive line, I don't think he complains as much because he's getting the ball. I think the team is going to grow frustrated with Hurts and his inability to make the routine throws and make those throws. I listen to like QB guys, like Dan Orlovsky, Sean King, some other guys talk about Jalen Hurts and how he misses the routine throws. He's just not one of those guys that's just gonna take you over the top. Like it's gonna have to be like that team and do it for you. But go ahead, Zaire.
Well, I could say after listening to all of this discourse and discussion, from like the Vikings and then the Eagles, we have a lot of quarterbacks that basically they do what they're supposed to do. Like they're making the key throws and then able to run the ball here and there, handing off. So like we're saying, I guess some people use the time like a system quarterback, because that's what many people say. Like I know we mentioned Brock Purdy, so that's basically sounds like what Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold are, and even like Brock Purdy, they're all quarterbacks that do what they're supposed to do. And we're not gonna say they're not bad, but they're just pretty solid. So, but unfortunately, these type of teams, especially like the Eagles, like they're probably not going to be bad enough to where they're going to get a number one pick, as we like mentioned with the Steelers, or anything to the way they can be able to draft a future quarterback. Most of their quarterback getting probably is going to come through trading or through the offseason and signing free agents. And so, I don't know. I mean, I always thought the Eagles were always good because they always make, especially when I watch like the different draft days, they usually make one of the teams that makes smart decisions, especially when it comes to drafting players. So I don't know, but we will all see. And like the Vikings with Sam Darnold, since I'm on the lines that he does what he's supposed to do. Maybe they can try to run it back again with him next year. But like Julian mentioned, they are going to definitely need to have a lot of supporting characters on the team like an extremely good offensive line, so that way he has time to throw. And I mean, I watched that Vikings Rams game, and not gonna lie, there was a couple times like I'm like, geez, he's got like 1 second to get the ball in his hands. So yeah, it'll be interesting off season, but we'll see the rest of the playoffs.
Man, it's about to get real these coming weeks, man. The playoffs about to heat up. But
Did we talk about every team? I want to make sure.
not so the Chargers, Texans, and then what's the game after that? The Ravens, Steelers. Then obviously the next day we had the Bills, Broncos, and then we had Eagles, Packers, Commanders, Bucks, and then yesterday we had the Rams, Vikings. So the Eagles game, just to get ready to conclude and talk about that. I mean, the Eagles game, I feel like the Packers really had a chance. They were trying. They just got overpowered, overwilled. They were less disciplined, and they just didn't look too prepared. But that gives me hope though, because I know that if the game was close and they weren't prepared, imagine what that game's going to look like next week when the Rams come to the link. Because the Rams, you can bet your bottom buck, hey, they're going to be prepared. Matthew Stafford going to have them boys prepared. Sean McVay going to have them boys prepared. And they're going to come into the link and they're going to, compete. I'm not going to say whether or not they're going to win or not right now, but I'm confident they can compete. The same way I'm confident in the Commanders. There's nobody in the league that the Commanders cannot compete with. There's no team in the NFL that I feel like at these Commanders right now, there's no team in the NFL that's going to blow them out or just like destroy them. I feel like the Commanders can compete next week versus the Lions.
All I'm gonna say on that is y'all better blow us out, because if y'all don't, and it's between a 1-score game,
if it's close, man,
5 minutes left, that
anything
boy
can
gonna
happen,
walk
bro.
you down just again. I'm not saying we're winning. Y'all better blow us out.
But I'm gonna save my predictions and all that for the next live because I want to do a divisional live with y'all boys. That'd be tough too, but you're just focused on this, first round. A lot of good games. Who am I kidding? It was not a lot of good games. It was one good game. Who am I kidding? I'm talking about a lot of good games. It was like I told y'all, the game. Hey, what I tell you, Kalani? The game of the playoffs.
Well, no, you're right. That was definitely the game of the playoffs in the sense where it wasn't boring. Because
Yeah,
every other game was boring. I mean, that Bucks Commanders game went down to the wire. I'm not trying to hate, but I still stand on what I'm saying. If Baker Mayfield didn't turn the ball over and fumble, then the Bucks win that game. But
yeah, probably so.
I'm
Guess
not
we'll
gonna
never
sit up here
know.
and hate that because at the end of the day, Commanders still have to put the ball in the end zone. So, that's a good win for you guys. But sorry, you got to pack it up because Detroit is handling that. So, Zaire, we got something for the Ravens this weekend. So, yeah, man.
Well,
Hey,
we'll
this
see.
Rams
I'm
about to put out the ass.
I will
You know
see.
what?
For me, I keep most of my trash talking. I'm trying to keep most of it to a minimum because for me, it usually doesn't go well when I start trash talking. But I mean, for me, I'm just gonna have faith and pray every single day that the Ravens do what they're supposed to. That's all I can do.
Hey, Zaire, win or lose, you got to be real, man. Win or lose, you got to keep it a buck, keep it 100. Because, hey, don't be like these sorry Bucks fans, man. When we won, I was making phone calls, went straight to voicemail, dog. Couldn't hear. Nobody was responding. They didn't want no smoke when they lost, man. Before the game, I'm talking to Cuzzo. Cuzzo like, hey, the Bucks, they gonna do this, they gonna do that. Jaden's a rookie, slow your roll. Baker let's play. He's talking about playoff Baker, playoff bait. That's what he sent to me. Playoff bait. I'm like, you just texted playoff bait, not playoff Brady. We're talking about playoff Baker Mayfield. I think people had forgot a little bit who Baker Mayfield was. Like he's good. He's a good quarterback, but like playoff Baker.
Playoff bake is crazy.
Like
I
what are
didn't
we
even know
talking?
he had that
And I
nickname.
love Baker Mayfield, but playoff bake, let's calm down.
Like what are we talking about, man? Like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Playoff
Yeah.
bake.
But we shall see.
Playoff bake.
That's all I'll say.
Nobody ever.
Yeah, man. But I know we've been going for a while, hour plus. About to wrap it up here. Y'all got any last thoughts, man?
Mm.
No, we'll wait for the predictions.
Yeah. Josh Allen's the MVP. You know, that's all I got to say.
No,
This-
we shall see in February.
Hey, this is why I'm really feeling like, should the playoffs be accounted for MVP, bro? Because listen, this game right here, bro, like, man,
The playoffs is accounted for MVP. Lamar Jackson will have 0 MVPs.
dang, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Let's be for real. His playoff stats are terrible. Or I mean, it's not terrible, but considering the eliteness of what he's held to, then yeah, it is terrible.
Let's be real, bro. Let's be real. It's bad. You know, he could have done better. But at the same time, hey, it's good to get the playoff wins, account for that stuff, but you got to finish too. You got to finish. You know, I feel like if the Ravens don't get to the AFC Championship, if the Bills don't get to the AFC Championship, I know one or the other gonna have to make that push. But for the team that loses, because there ain't no ties in the playoffs, for the team that loses that game, it is a disappointment, and somebody's job is gonna be in jeopardy. Somebody.
I think if to end it off, I think if we don't beat the Ravens, or if we don't even get to the Super Bowl or even the AFC Championship, if we lose this next round, I think Sean McDermott's going to get fired.
And I think for
he,
Harbaugh,
I think he should be in the hot seat. Harbaugh, yeah.
You could get moved to the front office. Same thing I suggested with Tomlin. When you have somebody that long, like he's a part of the culture, so I feel like you should move him to the front office.
I think McDermott's a part of the culture as well. Him and Harbaugh definitely.
Nah, bro.
I think he is.
It's not comparable at all.
Since he's, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the household name that Harbaugh has, obviously, but McDermott has accumulated winning seasons, and he's gotten the team far. It's just sometimes it's that one coach who just can't get him over the hump. So
I mean, let's be real, bro. I respect Sean McDermott, but Josh Allen is one of those quarterbacks where it's like, regardless of who the coach is, bro, he gonna have that team rolling. He really will.
Yeah, 100%.
When I want to see, I really like me. I'm not one of those this or the other type of guys. I want to see both Josh Allen and Lamar get a Super Bowl ring. This season, to me, in this playoffs, of course, I'm rooting for my team because this is unique. This is a unique feeling. My team usually would be out of it by now, so I have something to root for. But even still, let's say we get knocked out this week, or let's say something happens, we don't make the Super Bowl. It's a possibility now. It's a possibility. Let's say that doesn't happen. I just want to see somebody who hasn't won a Super Bowl win a Super Bowl. I don't care if it's Jalen Hurts. I don't care if it's of course I would love if it's Jaden Daniels. I would love to see Lamar get one, Josh Allen. I want to see somebody who hasn't won a Super Bowl. I really don't want to see Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl. I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl. Obviously, I wouldn't be too mad if Matthew Stafford gets his second because he's gone through so many struggles with the Lions in those days. He really deserves a second Super Bowl, but I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes win it again. If he does, I'm not mad. The three-peat would be cool to see, historic. I wouldn't be too upset, but I just want to see somebody else win it, bro. Somebody get their first ring. You feel me?
Can definitely agree with you. Tired of seeing the Chiefs, to be honest. I ain't even saying as a Bills fan, speaking from an NFL fan. Want to see somebody new win it. Hell, I'll even take if we don't win, I want to see Detroit win.
Bro, you want to see us win, right? Say us.
See y'all too, but I don't know if y'all gonna beat Detroit, man. I respect what Detroit got going on over there. Y'all time gonna come soon, though, 100%.
Hey, you know what this week is for us though? We want to get that get back because old boy Ben Johnson. I'll save that for the next live, but Ben Johnson.
Hey, they some basketball boys, right?
Yeah. Ben Johnson. Who was the team trying to get Ben Johnson? You remember Kalani? Who was that?
Nah, I don't remember.
Oh, it was Washington. We wanted Ben Johnson. All our fans wanted Ben Johnson, and he midway through a flight tells them he was on a flight to an interview with the Commanders GM and owner. Midway through the flight, he tells them what? He tells them, never mind. I don't think I'm interested. like what is Ben Johnson? I don't care who hires him. I just want to smash that boy's offense. Like I would love to see our defense just go out there and just ball.
Yeah, we gonna see.
Hey, that's all you can do is compete, man. And I feel like we can compete with whoever, bro. That's all I'm saying. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown, he hating too.
Yeah, he ain't on my man Diami.
I mean, he's been doing that for years, though.
Diami, show out, shorty. You did your thing in Tampa. I need you to show out.
It's Brown versus Brown. St. Brown versus Brown. Hey, people really think we about to get blown out, bro. I'm telling you, bro. It's gonna be a competition. Hey, listen, the Lions are an elite football team, but y'all gotta realize, and I'm trying not to get into it too much because I know we're gonna save it for the next live. They are beatable, bro. They lost several games this year. They lost to Tampa Bay, bro. They almost lost to them in the playoffs last season. They lost to them in the regular season this year, bro. Like they are a beatable football team.
To be honest, though, they only lost to 2 teams this year. They only lost to Tampa.
No, 3.
3, isn't it? Nah, it's 2. They had 2 also, I think.
Let me check that joint. Just to look it over.
Some of Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think they lost to us and they lost to Tampa. I think that was it.
15-2. Yeah, the Lions. They got a super team, bro. They got an elite football team.
They do.
The thing about their team, I would say, rather than Philly, the Lions super team is way more respectable because it's kind of homegrown.
It is.
Kind of how people used to say the Warriors team was a super team before they got Kevin Durant, like with Harrison Barnes, you know what I'm saying? With Draymond Green, with Steph, Clay, of course.
It's just what they built, you know. So
yeah. Yes.
So it's established. So even without all, like I guess the household names that Golden State had, like when they got KD, even before KD, they were still respected as a super team because of what they had built. So
yeah.
Agree. I definitely agree with you.
Brad Holmes is a good general manager as well. He's done a great job putting together that team.
Yeah.
HBCU alum, A&T alum. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's a great GM. Shoot, right now, bro. Hey, this might be the GM battle, bro. This game. This might be the GM battle. Top 2 GMs.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm about to head off.
Yeah, man. I'm about to just wrap it up here. But appreciate y'all tapping in with the 4th and Goal Sports Show. Appreciate y'all watching, man. We're chopping it up about the first round of the playoffs. We're gonna chop it up again soon. Talk about the divisional round, predictions, picks, and more. But for tonight, I'm your host, Tyrus Filson. Y'all got any last words, brothers?
And just hope for another fun weekend of football, man. Definitely want it to be comp. I don't want it to be boring. I think
definitely be better than last week.
Definitely will. Just hope for some good football. That's about it, man. Hope to come back with a Bills W, by the way, too. So
for sure.
I would also say I hope to come with the Ravens W. But like we said, we shall see. We shall see.
Yes, sir. How you feeling?
Oh, okay. Jaden, let's do this again. Let's do it again, man. Also, Matthew Stafford, let's not get these people. Let's let these people remember who you are. And let's get this dub against Philly because it's Philly. Why would I ever cheer for them?
My message to Commanders fans, I say this. Go be greedy this week. Go be greedy this weekend. Go get a dub. Like, I don't see why y'all can't get it. The Lions, like you said, are beatable. Go be greedy. Don't roll over because the Lions have the name. The Lions have the 1 seed, whatever the case may be. Go be greedy. Go to Detroit and try to snag a win if you can. That's what I'm going to say. Don't turn your cheek the other way.
For sure, man. Hey, for sure, bro. Hey, and then the only thing that kind of pisses me off or gets on my nerves before we, wrap it up. I keep saying that, but we about to wrap it up. Last thing. I am kind of disappointed that the game is on Saturday night at 8 p.m. The Lions have all this time because they earned the 1 seed. They have all this time to prepare. The Commanders just had a game, and they're gonna have a game again in a few days. I would have liked that the game could have been Sunday night again, instead of Saturday night. But of course, the game that is Sunday night is gonna be the most interesting game, probably. Ravens and Bills. But I don't know. I just feel like, shoot, that game, they could move our game to Sunday, bro. They giving us limited prep time, bro. They setting us up, dog. They really want the Lions in that NFC Championship game. Oh man, Marshawn Lattimore, bro. He better go see the trainer like constantly, bro. Because goodness gracious, Jameson
I'll
Williams,
give you my hamstring if you need it. Just
bro.
let me know.
Jameson Williams is going to run all over that guy if he doesn't lock in, bro. It's gonna be bad. We gotta lock in. Yeah, man. But that's all I got, bro. Fourth and Goal Sports Show live. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Until next time. Peace.
See ya.